Hello, everyone. Welcome to our KaiNexus Training Team Office Hours webinar, aka the Banner Rippy Show, episode 16.
The Rip Stripes back.
My name is Ryan Rippy, and I'm the Senior Customer Enablement Manager over here at KaiNexus. And as you can hear, I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Solutions Engineer, Matt Banna.
Did you see it's opening day? I am so excited for baseball to start again. I got my Cubs gear on right now. World Series this year.
Yeah, that shirt's a little small for you, Banna, but I really don't care.
What do you mean you don't care? Baseball's American as apple pie.
I don't like apple pie.
Do you like anything?
I like new KaiNexus features.
Well, you are in luck because we just released a ton.
I know that, Banna, hence the webinar that we're currently hosting.
Is that what we're doing? How does this work again?
I'm glad you asked. Segues are cool. So, for those of you new to our webinar series, welcome aboard. The way this works is Ben and I plan to nerd out for the next 30 minutes or so, probably a little bit less than that for today's webinar. And we're going to be nerding out on a KaiNexus topic that we'll share with you all in just a bit. No drum rolls, Ben. Gosh. The purpose of these webinars is for us to review the hottest topics and latest and greatest features suggested by you, our customers. So before I go ahead and reveal our topic for today, let's just quickly go over some housekeeping items. Now, the webinar is being recorded, so we'll go ahead and send out the slides and recording to everyone after the webinar. Also, if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to type those into the chat box. We will do our best to answer those in real time, as well as at the very end of the webinar if there is some time left over, and I guarantee there will be. So don't be shy. Please,
he's never wrong.
Please shoot those comments, questions, concerns, anything over, and we'd be happy to address those. All right, let's take a look at our webinar topic for today.
No drum roll?
No drum rolls. We are going to be talking about our 2.3.3 release. So a couple of weeks ago, we unveiled our latest 2.3.3 release featuring 53 new improvements.
That's a lot. That's a lot of improvements.
Hopefully everybody had a chance to go through our support site and go through those release notes. For today's webinar, we are going to be taking a deeper dive into some of the top new features that were included in that release. So specifically what I put on the agenda for us today, Banna, we're going to start off with some UI enhancements. These are my favorite types of features that get implemented in KaiNexus.
He's not lying. Those are his absolute favorite things that ever get into the platform.
Including the icons. I mean, you know, we're pretty big on those icons, so we'll point some of that out.
1/3 of his day is spent looking at icons.
Nah, that's not true. From there, we're going to check out full screen mode engaged. So we'll take a look at what that full screen mode looks like in KaiNexus. No relation to wallboard or slideshow or anything like that. And then, Banna, I kind of broke this down based on just the big sections of KaiNexus. So I want to take a look at some of the enhancements that we now included across the simple header toolbar.
Fantastic.
Spoiler alert, bookmarks. From there, I want to take a look at some of the new item enhancements, just a few tips and tricks, bells and whistles added in there. Then we're going to take a look at, we're going to jump into boards. We're going to take a look at some of the new board and card enhancements that we have.
You guys will like those. Those are pretty cool.
That's probably the biggest feature as part of this release.
Dare I say the best.
Super excited about that. The UI enhancements are pretty good too, though. We're going to get into some chart enhancements. We continue to hammer down on charts, adding new features and functionality around there. So definitely stay tuned for that. For all of our people admins, we will go over a couple of new enhancements to the people section, and then we will conclude things with a number of new features as part of the report section. So we're pretty much touching all corners of KaiNexus, and excited to unveil this 2 weeks after the release. Everybody's already hopefully aware of this, but let's dive into the system, Banna.
Can I drum roll now?
You can go ahead and do whatever your heart desires, buddy.
I feel like you don't want me to.
So we are going to jump in here to our KaiNexus environment. You may notice once you've logged into KaiNexus since this release that everything looks a little bit different when you log in. And so as part of our year of adoption, which was previously mentioned at our 2018 user conference, be sure to sign up for the 2019
KaiNexus
conference. Plug there. Our development team has been hard at work providing further UI enhancements all throughout the platform. So KaiNexus has been upgraded with a smoother, more polished feel in the platform, including more unified language, as well as consistent feature functionality in the system, which is something that we're really big on. We pride ourselves in, and we're continuing to get better at that. So what I'm most excited about as part of this is this also means a ton of new icon options.
I told you, 3 hours a day.
For you to add to your attributes, your level types, and more. You could see right away when you jump in on the advanced toolbar over here on the left-hand side of the screen, new reports icon, looking real good there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to jump into the admin section. So for those of our admins on the webinar today, specifically what I want to take a look at is under attributes. Let's jump into, for example, maybe we'll do an effort attribute here. So you'll notice we have 3 values, high, medium, or low. So if we were creating a new value up here in the top right, or maybe we want to come in and edit one of these values.
Yes, those are boring circles. Let's pick something better.
All right, well, let's go see what we have access to now. So I'm gonna hit the little edit icon here. This is going to edit this specific attribute value. And so as we scroll down, you'll take a look at the icon code section where we have a whole bunch of information included here. As part of the UI improvements, we've updated our access in the fontawesome.com website. So in terms of grabbing those specific icons, you do have some default options available here. Ben and I talked about these in a webinar back in the day when we included those. But you're not just limited to these. There are a ton of other icon options out there. So
thousands.
If you go ahead and actually go to this Font Awesome website, we are set up. You can see here all icons are supported, including Pro. And so once you are on that fontawesome.com here, you'll see 5,000 icons to choose from. Don't be concerned for any of these grayed out icons. You'll see as I hover over these, it is a Pro icon, and we do have access to these. So if we wanted to, for example, I kind of like the acorn here, Ben. I'm going to go with the acorn just for simplicity's sake. So once you find that icon that you're looking for.
You said you don't want to scroll through 5,907.
No, I mean, we might have the time today, but I feel like we could spend our time with some better features and stuff. So here, taking a look at this, what we would do is we would grab this FAS FA acorn here. So FAS FA dash acorn. And when we come in here, I can't spell. So once I go ahead and add in that icon code, make sure you do use that full code that you see here in the top. We can now choose the color. Well, I'll go ahead and keep it as red, and then I'll go ahead and save that. So now we have a nice little red acorn there representing that high value.
So what happens if you don't type that in correctly? What's gonna show up?
So yeah, it is gonna give you a little notification to let you know that you do want to include.
Like what if we just typed acorn on accident? Like we didn't know that we had to put the other
Sure,
stuff in.
Yeah. So if you were like, hey, I want that acorn icon, you'll see even before I go ahead and enter this that this value field is invalid. And so to make sure that you're utilizing that correct code, be sure to take advantage of the little question mark over here on the right. We've updated our support page, which will actually walk you through exactly how to add these specific icons in here, including the different codes that you can see here. So you can see that FAS, FAR. This is representing whether the icon is going to be solid, whether it's going to be light, regular. So everything is outlined for you here on our support page. But yeah, don't be shy. I'm a big fan of the icons. They're great visual indicators in KaiNexus, and we have access to thousands of them as we just saw. So be sure to dive in there and take advantage of that as part of, again, our big UI push here in that 2.3 release.
So do you have anything else that you want to say about icons, or can we move on?
I'm sure we'll see a couple of updated icons as we move through our webinar, so I'll be sure to jump in and point those out.
Good, I'm looking forward to it. The next thing we have is our full screen mode. And for those with access to the advanced navigation bar, you can feel free to toggle between extended or collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have now a full screen mode. So if we collapse it further, then we will lose that advanced nav bar. We'll lose the simple header toolbar at the top. And we have so much more real estate to really be able to see everything that we're working on here.
Yeah, I mean, we could spend probably an hour just going through that specific feature, Ben. As you can see, it's a pretty complex one.
Do you want to take the rest of the 59 minutes?
No, yeah. So here at KaiNexus, we're very big about as Banna mentioned, kind of the real estate, being able to expand your windows, expand your screens, and as you're working throughout KaiNexus, so that you can capture as much information as you want. Or maybe your eyes are just a little older like Greg's, and so you need to be able to see all that information.
I hope he's not listening.
I would assume he'd be on this webinar. We take a look at his Ask Us Anything webinars, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, so as you can see here, with that advanced toolbar, you do have those three options. So if you are pulling up a board and want to jump into that full screen mode as you're projecting and maybe holding a meeting, go ahead and take advantage of that. All right, Banna. So I am now going to move over to the simple header toolbar. Let's go over a couple of new enhancements that we have here. The first thing that probably jumps out to everyone is going to be the little bookmark icon in the top right of your screen. It's going to show up to the left of your user profile. And so one of the things that we realized is that the bookmark functionality was so great in KaiNexus, but was so difficult to access those items that you bookmark quickly.
I can vouch for that.
And so, yeah, I can vouch for it too. Now what we've done is once you go in and let's say we take a look, we'll jump into Part Pres here. And in terms of, for anybody who wants to learn how to bookmark an item, it's as simple as coming up to the right of the status picker here. You'll see you have options to like, acknowledge, and then the final would be to bookmark. Maybe you want to bookmark 5 or 6 projects that you're planning to bring up on a Monday morning meeting and want to be able to have quick access to those. Once you've selected that bookmark, those particular bookmark items are now going to be accessible if you come over here and click into this bookmark icon. So this is going to bring us to all of those items that we've gone ahead and bookmarked. We see that the Part Pres was added here. So in terms of being able to access those bookmarks very quickly, you can click into that icon. If you're wondering, hey, what is this screen? This looks kind of familiar. This is actually part of the view activity when you click into your user profile here. So if I was to click view activity, this is going to give me insight into all of those items that I am a team member on, all of my personal impact metrics, as well as this final tab here that we just saw, which quickly takes you to those bookmarks. Previously, to access bookmarks, you would go through the list section. You could come over to lists here. You could come to the drop down, find all of those items that I bookmarked, for example. And so you could access it here through the bookmark. As you can see, yeah, additional
like
clicks,
3 or 4 clicks,
three levels
yeah,
to find
those
those items. You can always use the filter capabilities as well, but I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a big fan of the simple header toolbar, and I give the bookmarks the right to be a part of that simple header toolbar now. I dub thee worthy, and so that is a new feature that we hope makes things easier for you.
Perfect. Awesome.
So from here, Banna, let's jump into the notifications window. So we're going to go into notifications now. You'll notice a lot of polish done here to this window. Oh, spoiler alert, icon change. We've switched over to this red flag here. This used to be a exclamation mark, like in the triangle, which is similar to the incident module that we have.
I think it's kind of scary.
We realize, yeah, like notifications are very important. When you see those notifications, you want to make sure that you're taking the appropriate action on those items, but we didn't want to scare people with that kind of emergency.
Caution, get ready.
Caution, this is a big notification you need to take a look at here. So we did change that icon. Some of the other things that you'll notice specifically is if you have a lot of notifications and you are quickly reading through these and want to start to X these out, we've adjusted the X in the top right here to clear those flags so that this is consistently, as those notifications pop up, you can clear those all out by keeping your mouse in the same position on your screen. So that's a really easy, nice feature to help you out as you're working through your notification window. We did, so in our last release, Bano, we made this a user preference when you came in and did a quick, maybe just do a test search here. So if you were actually going in and drilling down into specific workflows, if I was to, for example, say, hey, you know, I'm only looking for a project, it was a user preference once you went and unchecked those, so that every time you went in and searched again, it would just search projects. And we realized that that probably wasn't the right way to go. So we've reverted that search panel preference so that every time you search for something in the system,
it'll still search for everything.
It's going to search for everything. It's going to search for whatever your relevance or exact advanced search setting that you set up is, as well as going through all of those various workflows, all the items, people as well. So you can really find exactly what you're looking for. And then last thing, Bana, you know, we kind of went through the full screen mode, but we've also put the expand option on the create screen. So if I was to create, for example, an A3, you'll see that the expand option shows up here in the top right. So you can go ahead and expand this, be able to see all of the information that you need to fill out here a little bit better. This is especially useful if you are maybe using a kiosk, some sort of iPad or something like that. And this is going to be a user preference. So we'll see if I just go ahead and X
It'll
out of here.
always stay that way when I hit create.
Exactly. When I go ahead and create that A3 again, boom, it pops up. So if you have, you know, users going in there and using that kiosk and consistently creating that same type of workflow item that you have set up on there,
easier to see, easier to use,
you can keep that as a user preference for them so that they always can see everything on that screen. So few bells and whistles there that I wanted to point out along the simple header toolbar. We're going to go ahead now and switch gears and get into probably what everybody's favorite new features are going to be, which is all around our board and card enhancements.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to jump into an item right here. We'll go to Part Pres. We always use this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're doing item enhancements. I was getting excited there.
Read the script.
All right,
read the script. We definitely don't read a script. We just ad-lib all of this.
No scripts.
So the first one that we have here is you can now edit the team from the ellipses. This is a brand new option. We wanted an easier way to get to the team menu, especially when you're using custom layout and maybe you don't have that team bar, all the team members on your custom layout that you created.
I like that. Very smart.
The next one, we have our copy, our transfer, our escalate, and we've unified this interface to make it much easier to use and understand. So if we hit transfer, or we hit copy, or we hit escalate, all of these screens are going to look very similar. They all were different before. We wanted to kind of have the same workflow familiarity that you get with each one.
Yeah, and so what you'll see in terms of the information that's provided here, we've made things more general, more unified across those different items that you might be working with. And you're going to have a very similar feel when you're going through that copy, transfer, escalate, delete process. And we take it a step further. You'll notice that there is a link in those messages that is going to take you directly to our support site that is going to go into more detail in regards to what exactly, in this case, is transferring a workflow. And then what would the difference be between transferring an improvement versus transferring an incident?
We've been doing a lot of work on our support site, so
yeah. So
shout out Noah.
We're continuing to update the support site. We will plug that at the very end of our webinar. We always recommend taking advantage of that when you have questions. We're continuing to update that, as I mentioned, and we're continuing to add links directly into KaiNexus so that you can quickly get to those pages that you're looking for to get some more information about the feature that you're using.
So the last thing we have is, you want to drum roll for that one?
I forgot about this.
Yeah. This is a good one. We have a bulk delete. So now we can bulk change, and you can include deleting as well as all the other options that you have here at the bottom.
Yeah, and so the big thing with the delete here is just keep in mind that you do have to have the proper permissions. If you had the ability to delete any of these items that are seen here in this task list, that bulk change delete option will show up. But then once you've selected that and start to choose the items that you want to delete, only those items that you have the permission to delete are going to be deleted.
So you can't just delete anything.
Exactly, and everybody should be aware that the delete functionality in KaiNexus, we're very sensitive in terms of using that, in terms of the people who have access to deleting items. just keep in mind that anytime you delete an item in KaiNexus, that item is gone for good. So if you do have a bunch of maybe test examples that you're using as you're initially rolling out KaiNexus and getting people familiar with the system, rather than going in and deleting those one at a time, we hope that this bulk delete rather, can help with that, so that you're not spending a whole bunch of time going in there and tidying up some of the test examples.
Officially 50 times as fast with that list of 50 you can delete at once?
You know I'm not a big math guy, so I'm just going to say yes. All right, Banna, can I talk about boards now?
Yeah, fine. Talk about boards.
So Banna has taken me to this operations board here, and you might not notice it at first, but right now we have these 2 cards on the top, and then we have 3 cards underneath. This was not possible.
That's magic.
This was not possible prior to this 2.3.3 release. So boards are now configurable to have a different card layout option within each section that you designate on your board. So for example, here what Banna did is he has section number 1, and we'll see what this looks like on the back end. But this top section here has the 2 cards. And it looks like you did what, a 2/3, 1/3?
1/3.
Okay. So
I thought you said you weren't good at math.
I'm practicing a little bit. So you can see that, and then the second section that you set up here has the 3 columns, right? So this is in terms of the possibilities of setting up your boards, they're essentially endless now. We're really excited about this feature. We can't wait to see all the creative new boards that you're going to be coming up with. But just to show you for our board admins how this is actually done, if I come into the ellipses here and edit our board, you'll see that there is now this sections option. So as we mentioned, Banna currently set up this board with those 2 sections, and then based on how many sections you have, you can then come in here and determine what the layout is going to be of those sections, right? So in this case, that top section had that 2/3, 1/3. The bottom had the 3 columns. These are all the same options that we offered before. So if you're doing a 1 column all the way through 5 columns, that's all still supported. And it's very easy for you to continue to use the drag and drop functionality to move cards within the different sections. You'll also notice if you come into the ellipses and go to the layout, in addition to the move left, right, up, down within the section, if you want to jump from one section to another, you could go ahead and move a card down a section or move a card up a section. So we've included all of that functionality with the cards in the new sections as well.
Perfect. You nailed it.
I love this feature. It's extremely exciting to see all of the boards that customers are now creating. KaiNexus is just so customizable, so configurable. It's amazing. So one other thing I want to point out, we are really big with including tooltips all over the platform.
3 hours a day on icons, 3 hours a day on tooltips.
2 hours a day playing office basketball.
I thought it was lunch.
I do have lunch booked in there as well. So here on the edit board, if you're creating a board, we've added some additional tooltips to some of the sections that you see here. Specifically, off the top of my head, we added the description here. So this will provide some more context as to who should be viewing the board, what the board entails, how it should be used. But specifically what that's going to look like is it's going to add a hover over to that board's name when you're hovering through the board menu. So this describes the description. And then we also have the rank, which we've added a tooltip in here just to explain what this particular section means. So keep an eye out as we continue to add more and more of these tooltips. We want to help guide the right behavior. We want to help answer those questions as you're going through. So with that, Banna, let's take a look at the new chart enhancements.
I would love to. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to first create a new chart, and we're going to title it, what is it, webinar attendees?
Let's do
registrations.
Q1 2019 webinar registrants.
That's a lot. I'm just going to keep it at this.
All right, fine.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create this chart, and we're going to click on it. The first thing that you're going to notice is we can actually make a custom layout with a chart now.
That's right.
So I took away the team, I took away the items. All we have now is our details and our chart data.
Yeah, so charts are continuing to be a bigger workflow for organizations that are tracking those KPIs within different departments. And so being able to customize that layout is now available on that workflow. So what Banna's doing right now is he's going to go ahead and build out this particular webinar registrants, we're going to be comparing the Ask Us Anything webinars that are hosted by our CEO and founder, Greg Jacobson, as well as the famous Mark Graben. And we're going to be comparing those to our training team office hours registrants to see how successful these particular webinars are doing here over at KaiNexus. So right now we got our Ask Us Anything.
They don't get that many.
We're putting in the Ask Us Anything registrants over the first 3 months here of the year. We're putting in the training team office hours registrants. Let's do a category here, and we'll go January, February, and March. Here, let me help you out, Ben.
You want to spell the whole thing?
Yeah, we just want to make it consistent when we start to share some series and everything. All right. So we've got the first 3 months here of 2019. We got our Ask Us Anything registrants that we've tracked. We got our training team office hours that we tracked. So let's go ahead and save this. So taking a look at
that. Look
those
at how much
two
real
lines.
estate there is on this.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Wow, that's really nice. So let's take it a step further, Banna. Let's add a calculated series.
Okay.
Right. So let's combine each of these series that we currently have and see what those total registrants are for the different months between both webinars.
All right. So we'll go with a sum here between both of our series. What color should we make it? Orange.
Orange sounds good.
All right.
All right, perfect. So now you see we've added a calculated series. So everything that we've just gone through is typical KaiNexus chart functionality. All of this has been available. Now, to take it a step further, as part of our 2.3.3 release, we can now use calculated series within other calculated series. So what Ben is going to do now is he's going to include one of those series. Maybe it's which one are you going to use?
We're going to have training team.
Okay.
Office hours.
So in a numerator, we're going to include the training team office hours, and the denominator, we're going to divide it by those total registrants. So you can see here, we are creating a calculated series that is including another calculated series. So now the calculated series can include calculated series.
Black. That's confusing.
Well, we could change those colors. And then in addition to that, we're also going to be able to include shared series on calculated series. And so if I come back in here and edit the chart, let's say we have another chart in the system that we are tracking all of our actual attendees on. In that case, I can grab those attendee series, say attendees, and we'll do the training team office hours.
Good spelling.
Come on, man. You know I can't spell on webinars. Training team office hours attendees. So we'll go ahead and not use black here.
Good call.
We'll jump over to blue.
We're already using blue too.
Using blue too. We need some more colors in here. Green?
Green's good.
All right, cool. So we got our appearance here for this. Now we're going to go over to our shared series. Now I have another chart in here that I've created for those attendees. I'm going to grab the training team office hours attendees that's currently a series on that webinar attendees chart. So once I go ahead and save this and then go ahead and save our chart, we're going to have an additional green series in here that is our shared series from that other chart. And so if we wanted to come in here now and include this shared series in a calculated series on this chart,
we totally can.
You can do that as well. So in terms of that calculated series, you can use the series on the chart. You can use another calculated series on the chart. You can use shared series on the chart. Everything is available. The world is your oyster. All right, Banna. So we talked about that. Let's wrap things up. We're actually doing pretty good on time here. So we're going to jump into some of the report enhancements. We will jump out of or actually, you're right. Yeah, we have some people enhancements. Keep jumping the gun there. So one of the things I want to point out here in the people section is we've added a column for the last updated. So if you want to see the last time a user's profile was updated, we have this column now available. Remember, for our people admins, that all of this information can also be exported out of KaiNexus. So if you want to do an export, once you have all of the particular users and columns set up here that you want, you can do so. Keep an eye out for organizations that are using badges as part of the 2.3.3 release. You can also see those badges included now when you do that export. So that was an additional feature that we added specifically for this release.
Sweet.
All right, now we are in the reports section.
Now in reports.
So the first thing you'll notice in reports is we have done some name changes to the reports. We wanted to be consistent with that. We like the way that these look. We're going to show you some report features and enhancements as part of this release. The first is that for our activity reports, you can now visualize these in a bar chart. So you see that Banna clicked into our improvement activity by location. It was originally in that grid format. Clicking into the chart option gives you an interface similar to what you see in our attribute reports, where you're now going to have columns for total, complete change, change percentage, statuses. Again, this is specific to this improvement activity, but just gives you a more visual representation of the information.
So you have
that you're
both
looking at
options
here.
now, grid or chart here.
Exactly. So keep an eye out for that in all of those activity reports. Specifically for our location engagement report, or engagement by location, I should say now, reverse. You'll see that there is this new column for the badges. So this is going to let you know how many badges have been awarded in each location. You can even select a specific badge to see how many people in that location have that badge. So this is just further ways to kind of drill down on the engagement and badges being awarded out to users in the system.
Yeah, and just so we're reading this correctly, we picked our first improvement badge. We can see that 4 badges have been awarded out. There's 12 total people. So a third of the people here in Austin have got that first improvement badge.
Your math is just unreal today.
Amazing.
I don't know what I would do without you. And yes, so you'll notice that in addition to that, there's that people column here as well, where you can come in and see specifically the total, how many of those are full access frontline. So just much more powerful engagement by location report. I do want to mention before we sign off that please keep an eye out in our 2.3.4 release. We are doing a lot of report enhancements, which is going to include some unification specifically within the activity report section. So we are continuing to drill down into this section of the product, and there's going to be a lot of changes to this particular area come that 2.3.4 release. All right, Banna, we did great on time. We're a couple minutes over, so we apologize for that.
You said we were going to be short.
I was so passionate. We were in there. We were showing everybody everything. It doesn't look like any questions came in, so I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, buddy.
Well, thanks for the time today, everybody. We hope these webinars are valuable, and we appreciate your feedback. So whether it's an email or hit us up on Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever it may be, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to sign up for the next Banna Rippey Show, which we'll be hosting toward the end of April. And to check out all of our webinars from this year and last year, head over to kainexus.com/webinars/office hours. To ad-lib here for a second, make sure you check out our the user conference page here. KaiNexicon 2020 or 2019 is coming up this fall. We're not skipping that far ahead yet, but we had a great time. If you want to meet us in person, if you want to see a live show, a live Banna Rippey show, make sure you sign up. It's a great time. I had a lot of fun last year. I think you did an okay time, so
it was all right.
It'd be good. If you have any questions or need assistance with the configuration of the features you saw here today, please reach out to your KaiNexus customer experience lead. In the meantime, we definitely encourage you to check out our support page at support.kainexus.com. Did I hit it all? Is that everything?
I think that's everything, man.
All right. Well, I'm Matt Banna. He's Ryan Rippey.
Keep improving, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye now.